Decades of music. Mon Valley Radio.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and everybody on the West Coast. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And everybody else in between this great, big, beautiful country of ours. How the hell you doing? What's up? What do you know? What do you say? What's happening? Holy shit. Oh, God. Rush, rush, rush. This morning's been I told you, it's the Mangled news, folks. This morning has been a fiasco. Everything started out really good, right? Yeah. Like it usually does. I take a breathing medicine, okay? I take this thing called Asmanix. It's a little puffer, you know. It's got a counter on it and everything else. So I'm not paying attention. Doing this, watching the news about the upcoming impeachment trial, right, and everything else. Pull my Asmanix out. I thought I took a puff. Putzing around, I look. Here it says 48, which if I take a puff, it'll go to an odd number. I'm like, no, I thought I took a puff. I didn't, you know. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I took a puff, so I'll take a puff and then get rid of, just squirt out in the air the other puff and bring it back to an even number again. So then I start getting worried after I did that. I'm like, what if I didn't take a puff? Now I'm only taking one puff. What do I do now? Or if I did take a puff, and then took that second puff, wasted it, got back to even. But then, so anyway, I got out the calendar, you know, and I write right on the box when I started it. And, you know, in the beginning, how many, if you waste any, you know, it said, started on 22nd, wasted 2. So you take 2 puffs in the morning, 2 puffs in the afternoon, that's 4 puffs a day, right? So I'm counting down. And I get all the way till yesterday morning, and that's where it says 48. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? That means the 2 in the evening that I was supposed to take, I didn't take, but I knew I took those. So where's these other 2 puffs? Oh, my God. A half an hour. I screwed around with it. And I'm like, if I take another puff, then I might OD because it's 1 puff more than I'm supposed to take. So, and I'm trying to figure, and I wrote right on a box, you know, wasted 2. Wasted 2 puffs. So I start, instead of 120, I start 118 and count down. That's what I did over and over and over again. And you can't waste more than that because, and then I did with 120, that I did waste 2, but I pretend I didn't waste 2. And the numbers kind of match up. Kind of. So I'm like, screw it. So I took a puff, another puff, wasted another puff to get it down. And now I'm at number 44, where when I opened that thing this morning, it was at 48. And I'm figuring, okay, I waste 2 puffs. That means I took 3 puffs. I'm just all screwed up. So hopefully I won't croak during the show. That's my biggest hope. Or my breathing don't foul up or anything else like that. So everybody across the northern part of the country got some snow. Keep seeing this hair coming out of the side of my glass. I'm like, oh, what a day. So anyway, I do believe for sure, because after that I took, you know, I do believe, no, for fact, that I took 3 puffs. I might have taken 4, but I know I took 3. And there's 2 puffs somewhere that I didn't take. And, you know, it's almost every time I look, see what the number is. Now, Here's another thing that I can throw into the mix. With that little counter stuck. What if it's stuck? And I did take 2, but I didn't take. Bleh. What's that song? Paranoia will destroy you. So anyway, I had to rush down here, get everything else together in the studio, get hooked up, get everything turned on, ready to go. And it's 2 minutes till, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even review the news yet, other than what I saw earlier on the television. So I guess you got your popcorn ready for this afternoon, 1 o'clock. They're going to start. So hopefully you got C-SPAN or something. You can watch it. You can watch it online too, I guess. So, but this one's going to be 4 hours. That's a lot of popcorn. That's like when I was a kid. My aunt took me to see Ben-Hur at the movie theater. Yes, it was at the movie theater, Ben-Hur. And so on 2 hours, and then there was a matinee, a intermission, okay? Not a it was a matinee. But it was intermission, and then I think you had like 20 minutes, maybe half hour. And go back and see the other 2 hours. You know, you see that on the big screen. That was one hell of a movie. Charlton Heston. I can't breathe. I can't not breathe. I can't yawn. I'm trying to yawn. You ever get one of them good yawns in? Sometimes my lungs won't let me. Even though my body says, you must yawn. You must yawn, son. Can't do it. It's so frustrating because it means you can't get deep enough. Yay! I did it. Okay, so I yawned. 3 tries, 4 tries, whatever. So what's in the news here? Oh shit, let me clear this up. Oh, now I got disappeared everything. I discompeared everything, folks. Let's do some Twitter news. Siamese Sadie, my husband's on his man period. Oh no. Anybody want to adopt me? I'm cute and can cook. That's from Siamese Sadie. Don't get into that. Don't get into that. Not when there's a man involved. Nope. Aha, here's one. Dog and Cat said, do you consider 50 years old as an old person? That's something to think about. I guess when you're like 50 years old, it's like you're an old person. Yep, you're over the hill. You can't run no more. Can't jump no more. At least normal 50. And then you got these exceptions to the rule that they keep showing on TV. They can run marathons and leap high buildings in a single bound. And all that shit. I'm breathing hard, ain't I? Oh, my. Virender Singh. What's something your dad taught you? My dad taught me everything. Everything. Plumbing, electric, carpentry, automotive. They handed me down, my parents handed me down a 63 Chevy 2. All right, it wasn't a Nova, it was 63 Chevy 2, period. You know, and it just so timed out that the engine needed overhaul. And at the same time, I was taking mechanics and shop class. So I took the head in, you know, and cleaned the valves, reseated the valves, and cleaned the head and everything else. We put it on. Got it all working. That was pretty cool. It was like a whole winter project. It was so cold in that garage. And it was barely big. I mean, this was a small garage. It was barely big enough, for the Chevy too, but to get around it and everything else, oh boy. What a pain in the ass. And when he was a river captain, and he made me promise he'd be gone. Excuse me. See, I'd do this morning before you come home. He'd be gone a couple weeks at a time, and he made me promise not to get into something too deep. Because he didn't want me to screw anything up, first of all. And second of all, he liked to do that shit, So it's like, don't you touch anything. Don't you just do what you know you can do. Don't nothing else. I like to do some of that shit too, So we got it all back together and ran. Ran forever. It ran so long the floorboards on the driver's side were evaporated. And I had one, old galvanized water pipes. I had one running from the hump to the door frame to keep the front seat from falling through the floorboard. And then I had the hole, all covered up with cardboard. The only bad thing about it is every time it rained, I got soaked from the ass up. But hey, it was transportation. Bad thing about it was, wintertime, shit, them roads were always wet. I tried garbage bags, everything else. It just really didn't help it, folks. Oh, no, here it is. Okay, this is from Paulus V. Breaking news. President Trump requests use of Air Force One if forced to appear in Congress. If they want to impeach me as president, they'll have to let me travel as president. Oh, come on. FBI, please, come on. Why are you putzing around? So, I'm sorry. I mean, I can't understand people that Trumpsters, people that just absolutely love Trump, of where their fantasy comes from, of loving this guy so much, I mean, like, people, women and fathers, and they divorced their children, and family, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles. Would you do the same if they didn't like Pat Sajak? Think about that. Pat Sajak ain't president. Well, no. Neither is Donald Trump now. At least Pat Sajak, all right, he's a successful celebrity. Donald Trump's poisoned and ruined everything he's ever touched in his life. It's the truth. The thing I'll never forgive him for, first, he's a draft dodger. That's one thing. And the other thing is he screwed over contractors. Regular, hard-working people. He screwed them over, didn't pay them. So the contractors didn't get to pay their workers. The workers got their houses foreclosed and everything else, man. And you follow that guy? Oh, God, give me a break. Rick Ocean says the FBI has been instructed to round them up and is relentlessly going after the leadership of the extremist groups in over 40 states. They will stop for nothing to nail them down. 20-year sentence, charges being dealt out like candy bars. The largest investigation since 9/11. And they're letting the leader run free. Him and Giuliani and Don Jr. They're the ones that really instigated it, all three of them. But since you can't put Giuliani and Ron Jr. on trial in the Senate or impeach them, well, I don't know why they're still allowed to run free. I don't understand that. Giuliani should be arrested. That's That's what's not fair. Because he's a lawyer, Don Jr. and him got money. They get to walk the streets, keep doing their shit. No. I'll tell you what, man. If I was Attorney General, head of the FBI, those would be the first people in jail. I'd have the bond so high that they'd never get out until trial. But that's just me. You know? Okay, so let's go to regular news here. Did some of that. Okay. Congress. Politics, CNN. 8 a.m. Today, Katie DeBosco, CNN. CNN Politics. Okay, we'll do this real quick, rundown. Okay, this show's for adults. This old jarhead gets upset, the F-bomb, and everything else goes fine. So if you got road rats, crumb munchers crawling around, running around, little guys, little girls, time to put them in for a nap, okay? It's even an early nap if you're on the West Coast, okay? Or go give them, TV, put a Nickelodeon, Xbox, PlayStation, because this show's for adults, okay? Second thing, I read the articles, and I read headlines, who it's from, whatever, and read a paragraph or two, and then if you want to read the rest of it, you have to look it up yourself. Can't spend a whole show on one article, so I try to skip around and everything else. So, Congress has authorized nearly $4 trillion in spending over the past year to help address the economic crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic, but only about $3 trillion of it has been spent. Roughly a third of that money went directly to struggling families through stimulus checks. I don't believe that. Okay, now here's the rest of it. That part, maybe I believe. And expanded unemployment payments and food stamps. Okay. Still don't think it's a third. That leaves about $1 trillion that hasn't been dispersed yet, even as President Joe Biden is calling for Congress to approve another $1.9 trillion COVID relief package. Administration officials say the risk of doing too little is far greater than the risk of going too big, while many Republican lawmakers and at least one well-known Democrat economist, Larry Summers, are concerned about the price tag of Biden's plan. You know what? Here, let's go through this again. Okay, now let me finish this first. A group of 10 GOP senators have proposed a $618 billion package. Come on. $618 billion. That's about as much as for Trump's golfing outings. That's a piss in the bucket, man. Okay, which would narrow the number of people eligible for stimulus payments and provide less school funding than the Biden plan. There I go with the nose again. But anyway, if you want to read the rest of this article. All right, I'll read one more thing, okay? Much of the $1 trillion previously authorized but as yet unspent funds are scheduled to be used over time, and only a small portion will ever be spent, according to one committee for the responsible federal budget, a fiscal watchdog group tracking the spending. All right. Here you go. Here's another one. CNN. QAnon shaman rioter will eat organic food while most prisons and jails have a reputation for serving food that is unhealthy. And I'll get my lips and tongue together one of these days. As trays of bologna sandwiches and canned fruit are being served to millions of people in America's prisons and jails, U.S. Capitol rioter and so-called QAnon shaman Jacob Chansley is only eating organic food while he waits trial. How the hell? That's the guy with the freaking horns, you know. Trying to look like an Indian, but he's an asshole. Last week, a federal judge ordered that Chansley should be given organic food after several requests and an apparent hunger strike claiming non-organic food was against his religion and sickened him. Oh, so he's using the religious card. There's no end to these people, man. They find a way out of everything. All right. Chansley demanded, and the subsequent judge's decision exuded privilege in a system that has a reputation of serving inmates bland and sometimes unsafe meals, advocates say. See, these people piss me off. Dear, oh, come on. See, here this is. Joe Biden can't do shit. You know that? This is politics from the UK. Daily Mail UK. Today again. Woohoo. Only early this morning, 2:28 a.m. Creepy Joe is at it again. President is blasted after telling a nurse running a vaccine site that she looks like a freshman during a video call. You know, you can't even compliment somebody. Brittany Hayes pictured. I don't see no picture. What are you guys doing over there? Okay, picture was told by Biden that she looks like a freshman. President Joe Biden has been called creepy after he was seen telling a nurse running a vaccine site that she looks like a freshman. The president has been accused of attempting to flirt with the young nurse during a public video conference call with the healthcare workers in Glendale, Arizona. During the video conference, healthcare workers provided Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris with a virtual tour of the State Farm Stadium vaccination site. Nurse Betty Hayes had just finished describing the process for residents to get the Pfizer vaccine and how it is being called a dose of hope when the president made his comments. So what? So what? How do you like that? So what? MSN 20 hours ago. 16 hours ago now, folks. They're creeping up. CNN. Oh, boy. Okay. U.S. deploying B-1 bombers to Norway to send a message to Russia. Rush. Like Rush Limbaugh. Russia. How'd Trump say that? Russia. Okay, so what? 1 o'clock. The U.S. Air Force is deploying B-1 bombers to Norway for the first time in a move that sends a clear message to Moscow that the United States military will operate in the strategically important Arctic region and demonstrate that it will defend allies in the area against any Russian aggression close to the country's border. You know, Russia right now, and it's not in the news, is skirmishing with a lot of its frickin' neighbors, trying to retake the land of those countries that broke off the Soviet Union back in Reagan's day. So they're trying to get it back. So they're like fighting. The U.S. ain't getting into it, is they? Is they? Like Ukraine. Ukraine's clashing with Russia all the time, trying to keep them from taking over land. Because every inch Russia gets, they're not giving back, folks. So anyway, that's it for that. Okay, one more. 4 U.S. Air Force B-1 bombers and approximately 200 personnel from Dryce Air Force in Texas are being deployed to Orland Air Base in Norway, and within the next 3 weeks, missions will begin in the Arctic Circle and in international airspace off northwestern Russia, according to multiple defense officials. Yeah, so, hey, who knows? Something might happen. You got to be careful. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Fox. Here you go. Fox News. Former Capitol Police Chief. Yeah, that guy. Hold on. You got to click these numbers and all this other shit, right? Let them know that you're still here. And we're operating. I told you about that. It's a radio side, you know. Hi, folks on the radio side. Hope you're doing okay. Okay, politics. This is politics. This is from Fox News, published one day ago. Former Capitol Police Chief seeks to set the record straight about insurrection in letter to Pelosi and others. The entire intelligence community seems to have missed this, former U.S. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund wrote. In a detailed letter addressed to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, former U.S. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund said the department did not fail on January 6, arguing that Capitol Police did everything it could within the intelligence available beforehand, but still did not expect a group of thousands of well-coordinated, well-equipped, violent criminals to attack law enforcement at the Capitol. Then why did they open the barriers and let them walk through? Huh? Was that part of the plan too? Just let them walk right past the frickin' barriers? Because that's what they did. They moved the barriers aside. It's in all the videos. Right? That wasn't the D.C. police. Oh, boy. Missouri man seen with Pelosi nameplate in Capitol riot charged weeks after niece. Okay, his niece turned him in. There has been much conflicting information presented by various officials and the media regarding preparations and actions taken at the Capitol that day, and I would like to set the record straight from my perspective, Sund said in a letter obtained by Fox News on Sunday. Okay, the letter was addressed to Pelosi, but was sent to other leaders like Senators Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell, Representatives Steny Hoyer and Kevin McCarthy also received a letter. Sund, who resigned after the insurrection, revealed that a number of those in the crowd were wearing radio earpieces indicating a high level of coordination, and many also carried weapons, chemical menaces, protective equipment, explosives, and climbing gear. Okay, if you knew all that, why didn't you shoot them? Oh, no, we can't do that. That would have been real bad, right? So good thing they didn't shoot. Fox News. Here's more Fox News. Published 1 hour ago. House chamber metal detector fight puts Capitol Police in difficult position amid Pelosi GOP clash over fines. Pelosi ordered installation of magnetometers at each entrance to the House chamber after the Capitol riot. This may get nasty. Wonder why. Wonder how. Okay, I got a minute. I'm going to the last one, folks. Last one. Last call. And it could put the U.S. Capitol Police, already reeling from the January 6th riot at the Capitol, in a really bad position. The main reason, no one in junior high school likes all monitors. They're tattletales, teachers' pets authorized to come down on their fellow students or perhaps show deference to their friends from the in crowd. The honor roll students and starting quarterback never get written up by the hall monitor. You remember that? But those who have a reputation for causing trouble always do. Calls for, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California, ordered security officials to install magnetometers, and those magnet things at each entrance to the House chamber after the riot. That sparked arguments between USCP officers guarding the doors as members tried to enter the chamber to vote. Some members just cruised right past the metal detectors, drawing the ire of Capitol Police officers, to say nothing of their colleagues. Pelosi said lawmakers were concerned about fellow lawmakers being a danger to one another, adding that the enemy is within the House. Yeah, you know what? The smartest thing they could have ever done is put them up, because, people walking in there with guns, and they get into an argument with somebody from the other side, they might just get pissed off enough to shoot them. You know, we're not in the olden days, folks. You know, where you shot once and then it took you 15 minutes to reload. We're not in them days. Okay, so hey, I said my thing. Had a great time. I'm telling you what, I just barely made it today, but I made it. Now let's hope I don't croak from an overdose of asthmatics. Please, I hope. And I managed to walk today, so I'm not dead yet. No. Anyway, not yet. Anyway, so. Okay, so we're going to say goodbye to the radio people, and then we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to play their music, and we're going to play your music, and say goodbye. So you guys have a good day. Be careful. Don't catch that Rona, okay? Anyway. Oh, my.